Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to the channel. It's Cynicalex, and today we have the patch notes for update 2.9 that is going to be hitting us about 2 hours from the drop of this video. So if you plan on playing at the reset, guys, please keep in mind that 2 hours after today's reset, 2 hours after my video drops, if you're watching it, the servers will be down for about, I believe, 7 hours for maintenance, maybe 7.5 hours for maintenance. So couple things I want to let you know right off the bat: don't play your special missions, and you'll find out why in a minute. And then secondly, if you have any items that are going to decay in the gift box or in the notice tab or something like that, go ahead and collect them because they will still decay while the game is in maintenance, and I don't want you to lose anything. So who are we getting in the game? Well, as many people predicted, we are getting 6 Inhumans, actually 5 Inhumans and 1 extra who's kind of sort of Inhuman but not really, not yet anyways. And then we are getting Dormammu, baby. I want you to get hype. You can't see me, but I'm jumping in my chair because I want you to get hype for Dormammu. Alright? He's my Mamu and he's your Mamu. He's a bad Dormammu Jamma. Okay, so let's check out the news and let's check out the details, the skinny on these characters. We're getting Moon Girl, who's the only not really Inhuman. She hasn't been exposed to the Terrigen Mist just yet. She gets a 30% all attack leadership at 6 stars, which is nice. Her passive appears to give her a constant summon. So this is really cool. It's almost like a pet. It's going to come with a cooldown of 3 seconds. So maybe it will disappear and then reappear after 3 seconds. So it's almost a constant summon with 120% of her stats, which is fantastic as far as summons goes. That's Kingpin territory there, guys, on one big ass dinosaur who looks like he has a lot of AoEs and you know, strong moves. So that's awesome. Gonna look very cool in the game. Her tier 2 passive Devil Roar increases all debuff effects by 15% and duration by 20%. We've seen a lot of characters getting this debuff thing pushed, Hela, Enchantress, but we've never really seen it take hold yet. So here's hoping that it does, but maybe it doesn't. And then just your generic increase to all of the stats of summoned characters, which is in this case is the Devil Dinosaur, and then increase to her damage. Pretty decent tier 2, but I think her real value, I think Moon Girl's true value lies in her tier 1 kit. Air Raid Siren has a 3-second silence on a 7-second cooldown, so by my math, you can have an almost permanently silenced character at 3.5-second cooldown if you have the right setup, so that's interesting, potentially very powerful. Taser Punch has a 2-second stun and some dot damage, which is nice. Soda Bomb, which is a really cool name, has the decreased speed to enemies and increased crit rate to her. Again, it's part of that debuff thing that she has on her tier 2 passive. And then Moonbeam applies to enemies a 35% chance of the attack missing for 3 seconds. Now that's kind of interesting. To apply a 35% chance to miss is actually quite a lot. That's a little bit more than a third of the time. So that could potentially cut their damage by a third, which is a huge debuff. You know, that's basically the same as having all damage reduced by a third. So that's pretty powerful. Then you have a bind for 2 seconds. So Moon Girl has a lot of CC. She has a lot of interesting moves. I really can't wait to play as her and the Devil Dinosaur. I think she's going to be one of the best new characters in the game, but it's a little bit unclear as to what her typing is with this yellow Marvel Now thing. I assume she's going to be universal, but she might end up being Blast. And next up we have Karnak. I can remember, guys, since this game came out, people were begging, put Karnak in the game. Get Karnak in the game. I would totally blow all my tickets and all my resources and all my crystals on Karnak. Well, he's finally here, so put your money where your mouth is. His leadership is pretty awful, but it also indicates that he's probably going to be a speed character. His 4-star passive Deadly Blow has a 15% chance to trigger when he's attacking, and it buffs his dodge ignore and his crit rate, which is pretty nice. His tier 2 passive Death Chop has a 70% chance to pierce with super armor and barrier effect, so that's really good. And it's on 10-second cooldown with a 3-second timer, so that's really nice. And then it increases his crit damage by 30% and guaranteed crit rate by 25%. So he's going to pull out some massive crits. Huge numbers coming from this guy. Most of his skills are pretty straightforward. He does have a stun Gale on his 2-star skill, I believe. But it's here, his 3-star skill, which is very interesting. Apply to self, defense penetration. Thank you for the Dimension Rift. We have never seen a character be able to buff themselves with defense penetration. Fantastic that they're introducing new mechanics. Can't wait to see how high that number goes. And then he's got a stun on his Death Chop. Honestly, to me, Karnak doesn't seem like the best character, but we have to see how his skills play out. The defense penetration is super interesting, and the huge crit numbers might be something to surprise you. He may be the new, tier 2 OP speed character, but we have to wait and see. Then we're getting Gorgon, and Gorgon is very interesting because of upliftment, his leadership. 7.5% increased physical damage is going to give us the first character who gives a physical attack leadership of more than 30%. So we can finally test and see if Gorgon is going to be better than someone like She-Hulk, who for now has been the go-to leadership for physical-based characters when they're fighting against male or non-typed opponents like the Frost Beast. So I'm very curious to see if Gorgon will provide that damage boost that people have been looking for in lieu of She-Hulk and how difficult it is to get her bios. His tier 1 4-star passive, Reckless Rush, just gives him an all-speed bonus of 7%, which is just whatever. But then when he gets to tier 2, all incoming damage is reduced by 15%, which is great. He gets a bonus to his damage, and then it increases the effect of Reckless Rush. It increases it by giving him super armor, which is insane. That gives him native immune to guard break, which is awesome. And it increases all defense by 10%. So that's really, really good. His other attacks don't have a lot going for them, aside from the fact that he's got a bind on his 5th skill, he's got an all-speed decrease on his 4th skill, and he's got increased damage dealt to supervillains as a self-buff, and increased all defense on his 3rd skill, Warcry. He also has a stun on his Mace Throw 2nd skill. Overall, I think Gorgon might be one of the surprise characters of this patch. I think he might be fantastic. He might be one of the ones that free-to-play players need to farm the fastest, because he might be a go-to combat hero, especially with that leadership. Next up, we have Inferno. Now, he's probably going to be universal, because a lot of other fire damage dealing characters, I believe all of them except for Red Hulk, are natively universal types. But he might be different. He might be combat. Who knows? His leadership is pretty much terrible. His 4-star passive is pretty much terrible, aside from the 10% fire damage buff, which is not that great. Angela gets that on her uniform. But then his hot streak increases all of his buff effects by 20% and their duration by 30%. That's really important because he has a lot of buff effects. On his 3rd skill, he increases his own attack by 4% for 8 seconds with a cooldown time of 10 seconds, so you can have that buff up constantly, kind of like Shang-Chi. It's also got a guard hit, which is really good. And then on his 5th skill, Volcano Burst, which I think you can see in some of the video clips, he gives himself immunity, and he buffs his all attack and all speed and crit rate. That's gigantic. So this guy has tons of buffs. His tier 2 passive synergizes with that. He's just a buff machine. He might be able to deal some crazy numbers with a Red Hulk leadership and the right fire damage obelisk. Then we have Crystal. In lieu of someone like Storm, Crystal appears to be the best character or the most suited character for something like a weather manipulator. Her leadership increases all energy attack by 30% at 6 stars, which is not too shabby. Manipulate the elements is pretty good. We'll have to see just how powerful it is. It has a chance to trigger when she's attacking, but it only triggers for 7 seconds and it has a cooldown time of 15 seconds. So you really have to watch when it triggers and then just go ham and just unload all of your skills. And then it decreases the enemy's resistances to all elements by 15%, which is not a lot, but it's not a small number either. Her tier 2 passive Elemental Tempest increases all of her damage by all of her elemental attacks by 15%, which is pretty good. And then it increases all of her debuff effects by 10% and their duration by 20%. It'll be interesting to see if that increases her 4-star passive all resist debuff effect or not. Then her attacks, they have burn damage, there's fire damage, there's cold damage, all speed reduction, chance to miss with cold damage, all this kind of stuff. And then the most interesting one for me is Veil of the Earth. We have a new kind of text here, guys. Entombs the enemy in rocks for 4 seconds. This is on a 13-second cooldown. I'm curious to see, and I'm waiting with bated breath, if this is going to be another one of those skills that can affect world bosses. If this is going to be one of those CC skills, like Amora's Charm, like Doctor Strange's Time Freeze, because it's a new type of text. So I'm very curious to see. 4 seconds is a long time. It's the same as Time Freeze. And on a 13-second cooldown, you're bound for 4 seconds, and I can cast this skill every 6.5 seconds. It doesn't leave you a lot of time to kill me. Oh yeah, and it applies a guard hit. So Crystal might be absolutely insane, and with good reason, because she's so cool. Then we have Maximus, another character who has been asked for by players of this game for as long as I can remember. This is Black Bolt's brother, guys, if you're not familiar with him. He's a bit of a conniver, he's a bit of a schemer, and he's got what seems to be the closest to a necromancy character skill set, loadout, rotation that we have in this game. So I am over the moon. I am so excited to play as Maximus. Might tier 2 him right away. No promises, boys. What is his leadership? Decreases debuff duration by 4%. Nothing too special there. I don't really like it. Mad Scientists increase damage dealt by 50% from skills to machine type characters. That doesn't affect a lot of characters in the game, kind of lackluster. But it also summons an illusion with 32% of the summoner's stats. And again, this is a 4-star passive that summons a character similar to Clea's 4-star passive, similar to Moon Girl's. So I'm very interested to see which one that is, if that is the giant fat Black Bolt or another one of his creations. Tragic Genius increases damage dealt to superhero types by 15%, which is very good. Some of the top characters in the game are superheroes. And then it increases all of his summons, stats, which is nice. Then he has a 3-second paralyze on Lunatic Control. He's got a dot damage and a guard hit on Electric Barrier. And then he's got 2, guys, count it, 2 summon skills in addition to the 4-star passive. Ultimate Weapon, which has a 35% of his stats with an 8-second duration and a cooldown time of 13 seconds. So you can have Ultimate Weapon up all the time. And then Evil Trick, 10 seconds with an 18-second cooldown. Again, you can have Evil Trick up all the time. And this one starts with 45%. So I'm very curious to see just how strong Maximus is. I think he might be a surprise character. I think he might be very, very good in a lot of different game modes. And he might be, easy mode in some ways for new players who have strayed away from Loki as their main summon character. This might be the new Loki 2.0. Finally, we have Dormammu, guys. You thought he wasn't going to be in the game. You thought I was kidding you or pulling your leg. No, the fiery demon, hell, whatever you want to call him, Dark Dimension Lord is here. Leadership, not so great. He's got Volstag's leadership. Lingering Fear revives himself with 100% of his HP. He has Corvus's 4-star passive. That's pretty good. Impending Demise, 25% chance to trigger when he's attacking on a 7-second cooldown, so keep that in mind. Removes all debuffs for 5 seconds, so he'll unfreeze himself or un-whatever himself, but he can't attack when he's frozen, so the Doctor Strange thing won't help. And then he increases his max HP recovery. He recovers 20% of his health for 1 second. So that's a fantastic tier 2 passive. That's like Moon Knight territory. Then he has a bunch of fire damage dealing skills with a 3-second bind, with a dot damage and a reflect, and not much else. I don't know what to say about Dormammu's skill set right now. We're going to have to see how it plays out. We're going to have to see how his skills interact with characters, how his skills look, if they've got lots of iframes. To me, on paper, this is kind of underwhelming for Dormammu, considering the fact that he's native tier 2. So as we predicted, or as a lot of us thought, you're going to have to get Dormammu tier 2 base. So you're going to have to pay Black Antimatter from the beginning. You're not going to have to get bios from him except for once when you do the Dormammu side quest, which we'll explain in a little bit. Overall, I'm not terribly impressed from what I'm seeing on paper, but I'll have to wait and see how he plays out in game before we, check him off as not Doctor Strange counter or yes Doctor Strange counter. So as we can see here, Moon Girl, Gorgon, Crystal, Maximus are available through special missions. Karnak is not listed here, but I'm assuming he will be in the special missions because we've seen pictures and he is in the special missions in those pictures. Inferno will be available as a shifter in the Inhumans special missions, just like Gwenpool in the New Avengers special missions, and also the 20 bios per day. And then Dormammu is available through this special quest pack called Ruler of the Dark Dimension. I'm going to refer to this as the new epic quests, but you can call them whatever you want. Next up, guys, we are getting 3 new uniforms as teased from the Marvel Now Monsters Unleashed graphic that we saw a while back. Elsa is getting her Monsters Unleashed uniform. Now the bonus is exactly the same as her existing Marvel Zombies uniform, so don't worry about that, but it appears that some of her skills have changed in terms of their animation, maybe in terms of their effect or the damage typing, whether it's physical or energy, or whether they're iframes or not. So we'll have to wait and see if it's better, and we'll have to wait and see just how Netmarble handles giving a character their second uniform, considering many people, maybe not many people, but some people have already improved Elsa or maybe even Black Bolt's uniform past normal rank, which with these new uniforms may make that progress obsolete and make people super salty. Speaking of second uniforms, Black Bolt is getting his awesome tuxedo Inhumans. Attilan Rising uniform. I probably mispronounced that. And he's going to give himself the Obelisk increased damage proc on a 8-second cooldown time with 120% increase, which is pretty nice. However, I don't think it stacks with existing Obelisk skills, so you kind of have to choose one or the other. We'll also have to wait and see how it alters his skill animations, if it gives him additional iframes, or if it changes around some of the effects of his skills or any of the AoEs or animations. Then Miss Marvel, Kamala Khan, is getting her uniform. So nice, guys. Increases her HP by 20%, which is huge, guys. If you compare that with a 40% HP Obelisk or 30% or whatever the max is, she'll have 50% or more increased health. That's insane. And then it's also going to increase her all speed by 10%. And then she's also getting a tier 2, guys. Get hyped for Kamala Khan. I mispronounced it more than once. She is gonna be real, guys. I'm excited. I do want to tier 2 this character. It's going to increase all of her damage, and it's going to increase the effect of her 4-star skill, which is accelerated healing, which heals her when she gets below 30%. So she's going to have a massive HP pool now. She's going to be faster with her animations and running around, and then she's going to pop for a bigger heal when she gets hit. Kamala Khan might be the next like tanky combat character. She might be the female version of Moon Knight. I am very, very excited. Super cool. These are the new special missions, guys, for the Inhumans, for you to collect their biometrics. This is why I told you don't run your special missions after the reset today, before the update and the maintenance, because then you'll probably lose your ability to run them again, and you'll lose out on the first day of farming for the new Inhuman character. So just, hold your horses on that one. Also, guys, special missions are changing. Their time is being reduced from 30 minutes to 20 minutes from the unlimited run, which is going to decrease the amount of time we have to spend playing and farming those. But they're going to increase the rewards, so that's not going to change. You don't have to worry about that. Also, you can trigger the unlimited runs whenever you want, as opposed to building up your meter, which is nice if you have only a certain amount of time when it's hot time to do it, and you have to just get it done now. It only saves you a couple of minutes, though. And then you can reset or refill your unlimited run entries for crystals. I don't know how I feel about that. It's going to make it so that people can pay crystals to farm for these characters faster. They could just pay crystals to farm for these characters by getting mega rank up tickets, so I don't necessarily understand the logic here, unless you just want to farm them because you like the way the mission looks, or you want shield XP or something like that as well, or more obelisks. Maybe this is the new way to get, to grind obelisks and get lots of drops. I don't know. Now we have something called hidden routes. They're going to be introducing this in the Inhuman special missions only, so it's not going to affect the existing New Avengers missions. And the hidden routes basically sound like you're going to have to play them on manual, but maybe your character will discover them on auto. I don't know. Maybe they're going to introduce auto plus, where you find hidden routes. Who the fuck knows? And if you find the hidden route, you get extra items, which is cool. It makes the game feel more like a dungeon crawler, which I love, and it rewards people who play manually, which is great if you're a free-to-play player and you want to maximize your time spent and your rewards. That's nice. I want to say that these rewards look kind of pathetic, just 1 2-star obelisk, but here's hoping they can be better. They're also introducing something called hidden tickets, which allow you to instantly find the hidden route. It's just a way of streamlining it for people who don't want to wait and have money to blow and crystals to spend. It's whatever. It really doesn't impact most of the people playing. Then we have these new things called quest packs. Now, this is what I think is going to be the new kind of epic mission. These will be done to get certain characters, I guess. In this case, the Ruler of the Dark Dimension will be to unlock Dormammu, probably. And then maybe War of the Kings will be to unlock some other character's bios or something else entirely. So if you complete all the quests, you'll be rewarded with a completion reward. And then we can see here they have different effects. They've probably removed the text here, but you get a reward of gold, and you have to do something a certain amount of times before it unlocks. Very similar to the epic quests, guys. I wouldn't panic too much about what exactly it takes to get these. It's probably going to be on a similar power level to and a similar cost to the Doctor Strange epic quest. So if you're having trouble with that, or you struggled with that before, get ready to struggle again, guys. They're not going to give us Dormammu for free. We have to be realistic. Alliances are getting their emblems. As I predicted, as a lot of you predicted, it's just something where you can select a symbol and select a background. There's not a lot of customization to it, but it's nice. It's a great quality of life thing. It makes you feel like you're part of something special with your alliance, and it brings people closer. I think this might actually make people leave alliances just slightly less often, but it will suck if high-level alliances rip off each other's symbols and kind of cheese each other in alliance tournaments and stuff like that. But that probably won't happen too often, right? We have something new called Alliance Donations. Now this is very interesting. This is not trading amongst players. You're not giving gold or items to other players. So what you can do is you can donate money, or you can donate Alliance mementos. I don't know how you get those yet, but if you do that, you can level up the Alliance store by giving it XP. The more you level up the Alliance store, the better items you will find in the Alliance store loadout. So that's pretty interesting. Donations will raise the Alliance points and Alliance shop XP, as you can see there. Based on the amount that you donate, you'll get certain amount of Alliance tokens that you can then use in the shop. So it's kind of like a, you know, roundabout way of getting people to donate gold and burn money, I guess, in their Alliance. Here at the Alliance store, it's pretty interesting. We can get clear tickets. We have never been able to get clear tickets before, aside from special events like the one we just had for Lunar New Year in 2017. So I am pretty interested to see how much gold it costs to get 22 tokens to get 25 clear tickets. They're finally going to put a price and a cost on clear tickets in terms of gold. We already have one in terms of crystals. And I'm, you know, interested to see what other goodies lie behind here, because as you can see, they're offering us crystal only stuff like advanced XP boosters and shield boosters. So I'm very intrigued by that, and I'm wondering which alliance is going to max out their store first so they can tell us what's waiting behind those final doors. The salty part of the update is that they are changing the co-op. They are making it a different system where you only have a certain number of runs per day, and by completing those runs, you fill up your progress reward bar, and then you can collect your rewards at the end. I just want to let you guys know it seems like the rewards are a lot better. As you can see here, stage 1 rewards, that's about 75,000 gold. I can't say obviously just yet whether this is going to make the rewards better, worse, or the same for co-op. I know that a lot of people are going to jump on this and see this as an opportunity to trash the update or say that it's bad, but we need to wait and see and do the calculations and do the math, guys. Not me, someone else is going to have to do it, to figure out if this is really worse or not. If this cuts down the time that we need to play co-op, if this makes co-op a more enjoyable experience overall because it's more fresh and it's more fun and it's actually challenging in a different way, then I am actually in for it. I'm encouraging it. I'm for it. But we have to see first. So just cool it with the pitchforks right now, guys. As we also talked about in the sneak peeks, they are making Uru easier to both amplify and enhance. So that's really nice. They're making it faster and easier to do, faster to blow your money, faster to see those red amplify failed signs. Very exciting. They're changing around the epic quest, which is going to actually make Clea a little bit harder to farm for because she's a shifter, and they're reducing the daily entry to 3 from 10. So it'll be interesting to see if you get like 2 bios per shifter. If not, they're kind of screwing us over on Clea there. Good thing is she's not a very necessary character. She's very popular, but not necessary. As you can see here, guys, Netmarble has made a point of giving us the fine print here. Total rewards will be comparable to the current system. They're not trying to screw us over just yet. So please try to read these patch notes and follow along with me as a sane, rational, reasonable human being. And then they're just doing a bunch of bug fixes and other stuff like that. They're getting rid of the bullseye never mute thing. They're fixing an issue with buff icons missing in World Boss Invasion. They're giving Elsa a full iframe on No Mercy, which is crazy. That's gonna actually make her quite a bit better as far as chaining her skills so she doesn't take damage in between her immunity being on cooldown from Red Flame, which is her 5th skill. And then they're for some reason changing Yellowjacket's stats. It's pretty bizarre. It comes kind of out of left field. Overall, guys, I am very excited for this new patch. We're getting a bunch of new characters. We're getting new uniforms. We're getting a new tier 2. We're getting all of these new features, Alliance stuff, we're getting Uru stuff, we're getting new special missions, we're getting new epic quests. There is going to be a lot to get through, and I am so excited to be doing it with you guys and to be doing it, you know, both in the videos and on the live stream, guys. But nevertheless, guys, I would love to hear your thoughts on this upcoming patch. What do you think is going to happen with the game? Who is going to be the new top dog? Is Dormammu going to dethrone Doctor Strange, guys? Let me know what your thoughts are. Let me know what you're most excited about. Let me know what you're least excited about, guys. And of course, if you like what you see, I hope to see you again tomorrow. Take care.